Guys, Louie here, and happy weekend. I'm glad we made it. And boy, I didn't think we were going to make it there for a while, but we did push through to the other side. I've just got some miscellaneous silver collections here to dig through, have a little fun with that, talk about the world a little bit and the silver market. The elephant in the room is the giant crash in silver spot price and a GSR, I believe, well over 100. We are living in really interesting times, and hopefully the drop in spot price is not shaking you out of your silver position. Although it looks like silver was definitely the whipping boy for precious metals. And it's hard to predict. As I said last time, it's hard to predict the direction. Now, in regard to the shortages that bullion houses are talking about, people, there being a delay in shipping times, there being a sellout of silver eagles and such. It doesn't surprise me that the U.S. Mint has sold out, or are they on back order? You know, there's a pretty good distinction between sold out and on back order, and I'm really not sure. But why is that sticking to that? Don't want to have tape on my slabs. Oh gosh almighty. Looks like I got a nice piece of tape on that slab. There we go. This is my MS-70 Koala collection. All years except for the Holy Grail, which is what, the 2008, or is it the 2007? Boy, more tape. Could the U.S. Mint be on back order because demand has increased? Well, of course. Or could they be sold out? Of course. Could the bullion houses be experiencing high volumes? Yes, of course. I don't know why I got tape all over these. I think I put a piece of paper in there that had tape on it. And, so clearly, when the price goes down, people start buying like crazy. So, I think it is a price-induced shortage. Although I do have an alternate theory. And, when silver drops $4 in a couple weeks or whatever this has been, some of the inventory that they have, a piece of tape, some of the inventory that they have was purchased at higher prices, and it could be that some of the bullion houses are trying to avoid, my gosh, tape on all of these too. It could be that some of the bullion houses are trying to avoid losses and waiting for the rebound. Some of the bullion houses could be pulling back some of their inventory, not wanting to take the loss. Yeah, there is tape on absolutely every single one of these. I think I was trying to keep them in a display case, keep them solid in a display case. 2009, beautiful, one of my favorites. So they could be pulling back on their inventory, not that maybe they're out, but that they're not willing to sell at these prices. Those of you that know LCS owners, I can't imagine they'd be anxious to take, several dollar loss on on their bullion. But I don't know. I think there is certainly going to be high demand at these prices. And does that mean that, it's going to rocket up from here? That is really hard to say. Okay, is gold going to rocket up from here or go lower? That is hard to say. We are at the beginning of something somewhat unprecedented, although you could compare it to 2008 because I think it will have some of the same outcomes as the 2008 super recession. And in some ways, I hope that that is all that happens because of the fragile monetary system. We could also be looking at potentially entering a depression. All right, and here's some other stuff in the box. Let's see. Yeah, I think you can see it. What if we went right through recession? Because recession is clearly coming. This is not going to be over in 2 quarters. But what if we went right through recession, right into depression? What if they actually lost control of the monetary system? And I do believe the financial system is breaking as we speak, and the Federal Reserve and all the banks, central banks of the world, are trying to flood the market with liquidity. But people, right now they are clearly trying to raise cash. Right? Why are they trying to raise cash? Because they've lost. They've lost a small fortune in the stock market recently. Now, many will hold on, right? All my friends were telling me, don't worry about it. My stockbroker says markets recover within, 2 to 18 months, and I'm not worried. But that's not the way I see it. The way I see it is, we'll have some upticks, and then we will re-enter the bear market. Because, as I've said before, the devastation to the business community is going to be very real. And so what happened recently this week in my community, let's see if there's anything else you want to see in there. What happened in my community, which I think was a mistake, I don't even know what that is. I think that's a photocopy of a rare bill, just a piece of paper. In my community, I believe the mistake that was just made, and working in business, this just threw us all for a loop on Friday, and we knew it was coming, but they rushed the closure of the schools. Okay, and in your community, you may be dealing with that as well. All of a sudden, all schools simultaneously, within about a 6-hour period, announced that they were breaking until basically after spring break or later. Just Folgers. Now, you might say, well, in an abundance of caution, they're protecting the kids, but the kids really aren't at high risk. Now, of course, the kids could bring something home to mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, and that's true. So in a perfect world, yeah, I guess you would close the schools, but what they did is drive another nail into the coffin of our business community and potentially kill people. Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be that strong about it. But you have to understand that when a school closes, people, and most are working households where everyone is working, sometimes more than one job, sometimes it's a single household. But they're working houses and people don't have a lot of reserves. So what they did is they jeopardized the employment of all of the people that were relying on the schools to do, what they're paid to do, to teach our kids and take care of our kids. And by throwing the kids out of school at least a couple of weeks prematurely, in my mind, they're going to devastate the business community from people not having their employees. They're going to devastate the health delivery system, where just when they're trying to ramp up the health delivery system, a lot of those people have kids, and they're going to have to take off and take care of those kids. And they are accelerating the unemployment, right? Unemployment and people getting furloughed from school, furloughed from work. Well, you already know. You can't see that. I talked to a friend who lives in Vegas, and I'm not sure if Pit Bullion's listening or not, but you know, he said it's dead in Vegas. Okay, they're canceling venues, canceling shows. You know, that's just one. That's just one city. So, oh, okay. You know, that's happening all over, whether it be restaurants or airlines or hotels or convention centers. And so by putting the kids back at home, they're accelerating that. Of course, in business, everyone is working on their telecommuting policies and, you know, trying to facilitate keeping people employed. Hold on. And, you know, that's what I've been working on, trying to keep our business staffed, right? I mean, how is the world going to continue if nobody can work? And already people have pulled in their horns, and they are, you know, stopping. They're not buying like they were. They're not traveling. They're not entertaining. I was actually at a concert about a week ago, and it strikes me, which was a foolish thing to do, I know, but I really wanted to go and see Blake Shelton. You know, it strikes me that will likely be the last concert that occurs in my community for potentially months. Well, think of all the people that are associated with just the music industry alone. Oh, there we go. We got George. Hey, George. What would George think? Let's take George out. Does he come out? Why do they always... Either these things are always too loose or too tight in their holders, right? What would George think? You know, George was God doggone it. George was a proponent of sound money, and he actually thought that currency that was not tied to tangible assets like gold, you know, the citizens could be robbed of their wealth. And his own words were, as if someone came and took your property from you. And that's what our government is planning to do. And I think, I don't know about the reverse on these. I was never really enthralled with the reverse on these, but I do like them. I do like the presidential series. That's a fine coin. Is that 2 ounces? It's a metal, actually. And I do not recall. Let's see. George Washington, President of the United States. I don't recall if that's... It kind of feels like 2 ounces, but it might be 1 or 1.5. But it was like thievery. And that's what's happening right now. So the only question is, you know, as they print $3-4 trillion, okay? You got to remember, back when Bill Clinton was president, we had no national debt. We had paid it off. Okay, now we're sitting at 22 trillion, and we're printing 3-4 trillion at a time. All right, so that tells you how desperate the monetary supply is, and you know, they will do anything. But George would say, you're being robbed, and this is tyranny. All right, now maybe they're doing it for a good reason, to keep the world afloat, but in the end, it will result in inflation that will steal your wealth. And what has been, oh, that's just some sprues and stuff here. That's kind of cute. That is that's the sprue to to the balls that I poured, the giant silver balls. That was the sprue that came off it. You know, oh, what was I going to say? It is, oh, these are fails. There's a failed guitar bar. See the overpour? Yeah, this is just melt. There's a there's a prototype for one of my Nuke bottle caps. Nuke Cola. I think I was trying to paint it or something. I don't know. Anyway, so we we certainly need to be aware that the value of our money is being stolen, right? And you can't see it right now because there's deflation due to the declining economy and declining business need and everything being shuttered. And I suspect we will shutter things eventually in this country. And I actually applaud some of the recent actions, but I do not think it's enough, and I do think it's late. As I had said about a month ago, I thought our reaction to this crisis would be slow, and it was. But there really hasn't been an outbreak yet. You know, there are pockets in New York and Washington and so forth. We really haven't had the major outbreak, but we are certainly starting to act like we will. Of course, as soon as they furloughed all the kids, then the general population, oh, look at that, that's a pretty one. Then the general population caught on that this is serious. There was a national disaster. I suspect the closure of the schools had to do with the declaring of the national disaster. Perhaps their funding was locked in, and they had to do it. It's a USVI. Beautiful patina on that. I suspect maybe they had to do it, but I don't know why. Only private enterprise has to accommodate this crisis, and public enterprise can check out. Why can't they teach my kids via online methodologies? They don't know how to use video teleconferencing. That's beyond their abilities. And when the colleges all closed, that caused amazing problems for my company, which I can't really go into. But things are interrelated. And when people start checking out to take care of themselves, in what they call an abundance of caution, they actually are doing the wrong thing in some cases. Try to keep working. Try to keep people employed. So will this result in a recession? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Will this get worse than a recession? Boy, I don't know. I don't know where you go from near zero interest rates. They've run out of ammunition really, really fast. And it's just going to be hard. Oh, those are cute. It's going to result in some draconian measures, and I don't believe that we will default on U.S. government treasuries and bonds. I think what they will do is just print like crazy and hope nobody notices. And as a senior citizen, I am outraged, okay? I am outraged that that they find it so easy to steal from us, because we don't have a lot of years to make it back. If the value of the dollar declines in half, then your retirement just got a lot shittier. And since stockbrokers around the world have been recommending to older Americans to stay in the stock market, and this is true, okay, I see it firsthand, that's the other betrayal, the belief that the stock market will go up forever and you need to have those returns. Yes, you need returns in retirement. Let's see. 1896. Yes, you need returns in retirement. You need returns on your money. You know what else you need? Return of your money. And I pray that people don't buy the dip, because I think it's going much lower, and I think we're headed back to lower levels, and it's going to be devastating to people. And I especially fear for the senior citizens that are relying on the stock market to retire. My God, I wish there was a better alternative, but I don't fear government bonds. I don't think they'll default, and I no longer believe that there will be a, never even opened that. I no longer believe that there, oh, we can take that one out, huh? Oh, well, maybe not. I no longer believe that there will be a reset. I used to think that and say that, and after studying history, it's since there is no gold standard, they don't need to reset anything, and I don't think the U.S. government will ever default, but I do think they will print money to oblivion to bail out the banks, which the banks are hurting right now. The banks are really hurting, and corporate America is hurting even more. But I think they will bail out the public. They will bail. They will not reset the U.S. dollar. I think that they will just inflate like crazy until the value of the dollar drops substantially. So precious metals, huh? Did I already show you that? Yeah, I did. So precious metals. Are you a buyer? Are you a buyer of silver at $14? If I was just starting out, that's my little robot. I disassembled my little silver robot. There's all his pieces. Oh no. Oh no. Ah, I lost a foot. Ooh, and an antenna. Hold on. Are you a buyer? Well, many of us already have a lot of silver, but I'm not a seller. And I was going to buy some Eagles the other day. I had a line on at Monument Metals that does not charge sales tax. They were selling rolls for $350 until somebody just went in and bought them all. And but I didn't pull the trigger. I just kind of hesitated because right now cash is king. Cash is king, right? So I hope you have some of it. But I wouldn't be selling here, and who knows where it will go. Don't know where it will go, up or down, run out. Is there a difference between, what in the heck is this? Oh, Lucky 8. That's my Lucky 8 bar. Is there a difference between physical and paper? Yeah, and if the premiums go up so high, no sense in buying a $20 Silver Eagle when spot is 14. So I would probably wait to buy anything with a high premium. And I hear people saying that generic is no good. I don't believe that. Generic and constitutional may be the last thing that they buy, but I think it's plenty good. And once we have appreciation again, people will want all that stuff. If I had no silver, then I'd be buying. I'd be buying like crazy here, providing I had cash and other security, in my life. I'd be buying silver. I wouldn't hesitate to buy gold, although I think gold's going to go a little lower. And that's how the GSR is going to correct a little bit, probably with gold going down. But could be wrong about that too. Nobody really knows. All you can do is protect yourself and enjoy the ride. Keep your investment in metals to a reasonable level. Cash and security is what's important right now. And at some point I'll probably do an update on the Great Depression series that I did. I think there are some valuable lessons from the Great Depression, and I wouldn't say that the black swan we're having right now was the reason for another depression, but it is the trigger on foolish monetary policy around the world. unsustainable monetary policy that somehow we'll have to dig out of. We'll have to dig out of this mess, and there's no way to do it other than massive devaluing of the monetary of the value of your fiat. Okay, that's about it for now. Appreciate your thoughts as always, and I know everybody, some people are out there buying like crazy. Other people are, trying to figure out what to do with the stock market and such. But anyway, I hope you're staying safe. Most of all, keep your family safe, and this too will pass. All right, guys. Talk to you later.